Next, I have a question from Rena S. Rena wants to know, what is your favorite project that we have done in art class, specifically second grade? Gosh, Rena, we've done so many cool projects this year. Let me think. Second grade. They did the Romero Brito. And that was a patriotic painting. And then we did pastel cupcakes. And that was done in the style of Wayne Thiebaud, who liked to make yummy art. And then we carried on with that and we made our clay cupcakes. And that was fun. And then, oh gosh, we did, my second grade classes worked on the pileated woodpeckers. And we just finished those up. And gosh, I would have to say the pileated woodpeckers are probably my favorite. And I think they turned out really, really well. Guys did such a nice job on those. Part of my favorite part of that was using some of the unusual tools, like for the sky. We squirted that watercolor, liquid watercolor paint on the paper for the sky. And we used the cardboard and kind of scraped our paint on to show the texture of the tree trunk. That was kind of cool. I really liked that a lot. That was a lot of fun. So I'm gonna have to say the pileated woodpeckers, my favorite. All right, here's another challenging one. Leah U wants to know, well, Leah is doing a journal of crows in her yard and needs help to draw them both in flight and perched. Wow, I would love to see that journal. I bet that's going to be awesome. Leah, you're a great artist. But then again, I'm not surprised. Little secret. Well, Leah knows this. I went to high school with Leah's uncle. He was a great artist too. But Leah, crows. Again, I would highly recommend, even though you're drawing them from life, because that's hard. Because crows they're not gonna sit still for you. They're on the move. But what I do, if I were you, is I would print out some pictures of some crows. Find some photographs, find some how-to drawings, and really study them. Look at the shapes. And again, where's my marker? Here's my marker. Break it down into shapes. And this one actually already does that for me. It's shown me all the different shapes that would make up a crow. And we did this. I just said that my favorite project for second grade was our pileated woodpeckers. We did something similar to that for our pileated woodpeckers, second graders. So think about that. We looked at the shapes. So the head of the crow is a circle. The body, we have another circle here. Another circle, because that muscle where the leg attaches is right here. Looks a little like it's a disjointed snowman at this moment, but it's not, trust me. And then we start attaching. The tail is a triangle sort of shape, like this. And then we think about where the legs would come from there. And then, again, beak is triangle shape. And then you start attaching everything. Attaching. And then once you get things attached, that's when you start looking at details. You'll start looking at the eye, the shape of the eye of the crow. Look at the shape of the beak. They have very distinctive shaped beaks. They kind of curl down a little bit like this, kind of pointed. Look at how the beak would open and close. Look at the shape of the feathers on the wing. And that would overlap here, and it comes down. And if I look at this both of these pictures here, I see that the wing comes down and the tail feathers actually come below that, like that. And then you start working on adding some meat to the bones here, to that kind of stick figure that I started with. So do some studying, so do some looking, and that's how I would go for it. I can't wait. And then again, in flight, very distinctive shaped wings on crows, and the way that the feathers separate there and how they point. So take a look at some pictures, Leah, and I trust that you're going to do an awesome job, and I can't wait to see your journal of crows when you're all finished with it. So that's going to be great. Thank you for that question. Now, the final question, or group of questions, I'm going to say, come from Mr. J. Mr. J, he's asked me a couple of things here. He said, first of all, how many pictures did it take to make your movie? And he's talking about my stop motion animation movie that I made a video of earlier. And I had to go back and count. It was 56 photographs that I took of each one of my objects, and I moved it just ever so slightly each time I took a photograph. So 56 of those pictures put together, and when they move, when I make those photographs move like a movie, it makes my objects look like they move. So 56, a lot of pictures. And then Mr. J also, he asked a very kind of deep question. It goes like this. If you and Mr. Holloway were stranded on a deserted island and you had all of your needs met, but could only bring with you 3 different types of art supplies / materials, what 3 would you choose? He says, I wouldn't need paper or canvas because Mr. J has supplied an unlimited amount of that for me. That's a tough one. I would have to say one of the most kind of versatile ways of making art that I really enjoy is when I do collage work. And a lot of times when I make my collage work, like these, like this one, I use something called jelly plate prints. So I would have to bring my jelly plate, and jelly plates come in packages like this. This one's a kind of big one, and they're kind of wiggly wobbly. This year I've used my jelly plate printing with my group of students that stayed for art club. We did some jelly plate printing, and jelly plates are these kind of cool, rubbery sort of little plate. And you put paint on there, and you roll it out with a brayer. So since I'm bringing my jelly plate, I'm going to need my brayer. A brayer is used in printmaking, and it's used to roll the paint onto a surface, or the ink if you're using ink. But with jelly plates, you use paint, usually acrylic paint. So I'm going to have to bring my acrylic paint, my brayer, and my jelly plate. Those are my 3. I hope I can bring all my paints. He didn't say specifically. I hope I don't have to choose one color. But that is what I would bring on the deserted island with me, because I could just jelly plate print for hours and hours and hours, and I would be one happy person. So that's what I would bring along with me. That was hard work. I hope that I answered your questions, and I hope that maybe we'll see, maybe you have more questions for me in the future. And I hope I see you soon. So stay healthy, wash those hands, and I miss you all. So thanks. Bye-bye.